This is just on Charlotte Harbor. You can see how high that water is there. In Fisherman's Village just off Punta Gorda. This is what we expected. Obviously, the storm surge very high just off Charlotte Harbor because of where Milton made landfall, because of being on that, what you guys call the dirty side of the storm, where it's being pushed on shore.
Right, and that's why the water is still rising in some communities, specifically downtown Fort Myers, right along the Caloosahatchee River. We are still seeing the river rise, and we have to also keep in mind, even though we are seeing a lot of places improve, we are still seeing these high water levels. Look at this. This is at Business 41 at Pondella Road. So this is over North Fort Myers, but just goes to show that we are dealing with these extreme heights right now because of the Caloosahatchee River. So, you know, at this point, the river has surpassed the heights that it hit in Helene. That was one reason why we were saying, hey, if you flooded in Helene, you want to make sure to get out. And, you know, we're not done just yet. The good news, though, I am expecting it to basically hit its peak, crest, if you will, within the next hour or so for downtown Fort Myers and for the Caloosahatchee River. So that will include some of our canals in the Cape Coral area. And then by daybreak, big improvements are expected as waters gradually recede. In many communities, we're already starting to see those waters recede, like, for example, Naples, Fort Myers Beach, Captiva, even Matlacha, now starting to see those numbers drop a bit. But because of these extreme winds that are blowing out of the northwest, so for example, if you were downwind of these winds coming directly out of the northwest and you're still dealing with rising water, it's because of this. It's because you are literally directly downwind. So you are likely right here just on the southeastern side of a fetch of water that's bringing you significant height. So that's going to be a concern regardless of tides. As we head through the overnight time frame, the saving grace will be when the winds start to die down. So winds will continue to slowly decrease as we head into the overnight time frame. By 5 a.m. down to 50 miles per hour, but until 5 a.m. those gusts will continue to run in the 50s. Of course, right now, many of us actually still dealing with hurricane force wind gusts just because of the proximity of Milton right now rolling through central Florida, which I'll show you here in just a sec. And then as we head into tomorrow, we can expect those gusts right around 40 miles per hour continuing through lunchtime. Now, beyond that time frame, and we look ahead to what we can expect. This should actually say Friday, because now technically it's today. So we have Thursday's gusts around 40 miles per hour, and then for Friday, we'll see those gusts right around 25 miles per hour. Then improvements are forecast as we head into the weekend. So here's what's going on. Center of circulation, yes, it is showing signs of weakening, but look at this. Still sustained winds of 100, gusts to 125 as it continues to work its way here through central Florida. So because of its strength, because of its proximity, that's why we are dealing with such extremely gusty winds at this time. Now, as it continues to work its way off toward the north and east and eventually off the Space Coast as we head into tomorrow morning, that's when we will be seeing improvements, of course, as it pulls away. But looking at that cone, the good news, though, we don't have to worry about it curving back and hitting another part of the United States. It will be encountering unfavorable conditions here in the central Atlantic and gradually dying out just to the south of Bermuda. So with our satellite, with our radar, you can kind of see that we are still dealing with some of those spotty rain showers right now. Those winds, again, coming directly out of the north and west. So we are still dealing with that storm surge for parts of coastal Sarasota County, as well as parts of Charlotte County. Also receiving reports right here. Northwestern Cape, likely dealing with that fetch right there of Charlotte Harbor because of those due northwesterly winds. One thing we will be keeping a close eye on is because of the extremely heavy rainfall here along the I-4 corridor and farther north. That will keep our rivers, including the Peace River, even Horse Creek, the Myakka River, any local creeks, rivers, and streams, they will continue to rise here in the days ahead because of drainage. So definitely something we'll be watching closely, because look at this. Yes, we did have some healthy rainfall totals here across southwest Florida. There were some spots that picked up 4 to 5 inches. Most of us, though, saw generally 2 to 4. But look at this. The I-4 corridor stretching back toward Tampa, you're seeing that white right there, indicating a foot in the rain gauge. And again, all of that will gradually be draining southward and into spots like the Peace River. So here are those takeaways for tonight. Again, please shelter in place into the morning. Even if the water is rising in your area, get to a high point in your house. If it means you sit on the countertops until the water goes down, that's going to be safer than you trying to get out in the dark without power and in a vehicle into a potentially treacherous situation. We still have water up across all of Southwest Florida. The storm surge risk continues. Even though we are starting to see those waters recede in some locations, we are still dealing with inundations, so please stay off the roadways tonight. Once the day breaks, then it's a different ball game. Now, the flooding and tornado threats have ended, and that flooding threat, of course, meaning with the freshwater flooding. So here's kind of a breakdown, those storm surge heights right now. Downtown Fort Myers continues to rise. We're up to around 5¼ feet there, but North Naples Bay, we continue to drop, now down by over ½ foot. Captiva continuing to drop. Matlacha Pass now down by around ½ foot. So definitely seeing big improvements here for parts of Southwest Florida. Even Tacoma is now starting to see a little bit of improvement there, but still 13 feet of storm surge, and certainly something that we will have to see in the light of day. That's when we'll really have a grasp on the kind of damage that has been done here in our area. So as we head into tomorrow, partly cloudy, windy. Looking ahead to your Friday, it's breezy, lower humidity. And by the way, remember in the wake of Ian how we enjoyed a little break from the heat and humidity? Morning temperatures dropping back to the upper 60s for your Saturday morning.
We'll take